This video is about a legendary man known for worshipping triangles, taming gods, banning beans, and not walking on highways. But is Pythagoras really that crazy? And if not, what did he contribute to philosophy? We will be breaking this video into 3 parts: Pythagoras' backstory, his cult, and whether or not you join it, as well as his contributions to philosophy. His father, Menasarchus, was a gem engraver and taught Pythagoras his skill. At the age of 40, Pythagoras fled Samos due to the reign of the tyrant Polycrates. He established himself at the city of Croton in Italy and quickly gained notoriety. He's supposed to have created Croton's first coinage. Pythagoras traveled to Egypt and Babylon, allegedly. But this probably wasn't the case. People like Isocrates say he traveled there, but are considered Egyptophiles by some academics. Pythagoras' biography would suggest he was more epic than can be reasonably believed. He is said to have crossed a river where the river god shouted, "Hail Pythagoras!" A poisonous snake bit Pythagoras, and the snake died. Pythagoras is also supposed to have enslaved the Thracian god Zalmoxis, or at least had him as a student. After gaining notoriety in Croton, Pythagoras forms a religious sect, a kind of cult of the number. If you are interested in joining Pythagoras' triangle cult, let's take this quick entry test. Are you touching a white cock whilst watching this video? Well, don't, as touching white cocks is banned. He meant the bird. That's because they were vegetarian, or at least tried to be most of the time. Birds like white cocks were especially venerated. That just means sacred. Okay, that sounds like a religion, clearly a step back from the Milesians. Remember, even the Milesians were still followers of the gods, and they still held mystical beliefs, but they would find evidence in the world around them to create rational thought, often incorrect explanations for phenomena. Though you may be onto something, as Rode argues that Pythagoras was not a philosopher, and more just a religious reformer. One reason for his vegetarianism may have been their belief in the transmigration of souls. Basically reincarnation. Pythagoras intervened when a dog was being beaten and said, "Stop, I recognize that bark. It is a departed friend." Wait, stop, you can't eat beans. It is forbidden to eat beans in the Pythagorean cult. But why? They contain the souls of the dead, perhaps because they look like human fetuses, or because they are made of primal matter, partly influenced by a superstition of metamorphosis of beans when buried. Well, there's also this guy called Porphyry who says that if you chew beans and leave them in the sun, well, they smell of human semen. Well, yeah, as you can see, there is a clear association with beans, with life, death, and the soul. So it's no wonder eating beans was considered sinful.
Some of the other rules for the cult of Pythagoras include:
do not pick up what was fallen. Do not break bread. Do not step over a crossbar. Do not stir the fire with iron. Do not eat from a whole loaf. Do not pluck a garland. Do not sit on a quart measure. Do not eat the heart. Do not walk on highways. Do not let swallows share one's roof. When the pot is taken off the fire, not to leave the mark of it in the ashes, but to stir them together. Do not look in a mirror beside a light. When you rise from the bedclothes, roll them together, and smooth out the impress of the body.
Pythagoras loved math so much so that he invented 3 of the shiny math rocks you use to play Dungeons & Dragons. These are known as the Platonic solids, D4, D6, D8. He believed everything in the world could be reduced to whole numbers. For example, music. Music was built on whole number ratios, and this could have healing properties, something he apparently first noticed while hearing the sounds of hammers crashing down on anvils. Pythagoreans such as Philolaus and Archytas later developed this and proved the relationship between music and mathematics. This belief that everything could be reduced to whole numbers could be dangerous. A student of Pythagoras, discovered that the square root of 2 was 1.414, which is not a whole number. For Pythagoras, this was irrational, which is why we call them irrational numbers. Pythagoras is also noted for having drowned Pythagoras of Tarentum for revealing that the ratio of the circumference of a circle to its diameter is 3.141, and the incommensurability of the diagonal of a square. Later Pythagoreans, whilst distressed at this finding, came to accept it. This is a kind of number mysticism, which saw numbers like 10 as the best, and numbers like 4 as symbolizing justice. Men were represented as odd numbers, and women represented by even numbers. If everything can be reduced to number, if number is the arche, then could that mean we are living in a simulation after all? Comment what you think down below. Pythagoras died at the age of 75, or 80, around 495 BCE. There's a story where Pythagoras is being chased by his students. They're angry that they're not being promoted within the cult, and they want to kill Pythagoras. Pythagoras is being chased, but finds himself unable to escape further due to coming across a large bean field, obstructing his escape. He's noted as saying, "I would rather die than step on a bean." So, what is the legacy of Pythagoras? Arguably, he has a greater legacy in mathematics than philosophy, with many describing his ideas more like a religious cult. He is the first person to be identified with the title philosopher. The best case for this probably being their strict morality and the Pythagoreans' belief in the transmigration of the soul, offering an understanding of the afterlife without the need of gods. But why not categorize other religions who believe in reincarnation as philosophies instead of religions? Good question. Pythagoras is a tricky one. Rode makes a good argument for Pythagoras being more of a religious reformer, but as we march forward in our history of philosophy, we'll start to get a better picture of what it really means to be a philosopher. So, to summarize, Pythagoras is a figure wrapped in legend, probably due to the Greek tradition of attributing Greek achievements to single great men. Whilst we can't be sure of everything, we can be sure that
He and his followers believed in the transmigration of souls. He was a polymath. He was a legendary figure. Pythagoreans swore to silence and secrecy. They formed their own society. Philolaus preached the wickedness of suicide. They were acknowledged as experts in astronomy, harmonics, and math, which they considered all to be related or the same.
if you like learning about Pythagoras, then you'd probably like to hear about the first Greek philosopher, Thales of Miletus.